Hello guys, usually Yuri with you, and today we have amazing guest. I met Greg a few weeks ago on the amazing seminar that we are participating as the crew members. It was in California, UPW, Unleash the Power Within by Tony Robbins. And after that, we becomes a little bit closer when I asked him some questions, and I was interested about his story. But more closely, we met on the launch hub that was in Scottsdale, Arizona, by Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins when we are end up in the same team, and it was so interesting to know each other closer. But what I very happy to share with you guys that he have a book. It's Othello metaphor, and I have a book with he's signing it for me. So, but what is interesting about our speaker today that he spent maybe 30 like around 30 years in IT, and right now he's a coach. He's a life coach. He's the mentor for a lot of people. He helping people. He helped me, and he author of the book that changed lives. Can you imagine what happens? What's the story? What's the backstage of all of it? And when I asked Greg to come to my podcast and record this interview, he said, "Yes, of course, we can do that because this is my mission right now." So I'm so happy to introduce you guys who will watch this podcast, my friend and my coach also, Greg. Thank you, Greg, that you are here with us.
Thank you, Yuri. That was so warm, so welcoming. I'm so glad to be here. And I'd like to share this is my first podcast ever, so I'm so excited that I got to be on your podcast. I feel we've developed such a warm relationship and friendship these last
Yeah.
few days and weeks. So,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And my first question is, can you tell me what was the base like? What's happened that you switch like a lot of decades you spend at IT, you master that field, and it's a lot of like knowledge. It's a lot of seeking answers, and it looks like you very wise man. And why
well,
you
and
switch? Why you switch to become after a coach, a life coach, and leave that space?
well, I mean, like a lot of us, whenever we go through a large transformation, it comes from something trauma. My wife passed away 4 years ago, and that was a very difficult time for me. We had been married for 30 years. We had dated for 3 years. And then all of a sudden, I was by myself. And I thought I knew what was going on. I thought, like I'll move on and I'd be able to carry on, carry the love I had for her moving forward. But really, I was just acting. And it wasn't until a friend suggested the UPW event 2 years ago. I went to my first UPW event. And I came out of that event. One of the things, I thought of myself as so worldly, so knowledgeable because I spent so many years, not just in IT, but I had overall science interests. So I was constantly exploring things and finding things out. And I thought I knew so much. I was just brilliant. And so, I like to say I walked into that UPW thinking, you know what, if I get just 3% useful information out of this, it'll be worth the investment because I'm already brilliant. So if he can put that cherry on top, I'm good. And I walked out of there 97%. And I'm like, but it wasn't so much new knowledge. It's just all the knowledge I had, I didn't know I could put into action. He showed me how I can use it to make transformation happen. The other thing I came out is I knew I had no direction. I was claiming I'm living life, I'm practicing unconditional love for all, but there was no passion, no direction, no nothing behind it. They were just words. And when I realized that, I'm like, I'm in a lot of trouble without any kind of passion or direction. And with the loss of my wife, I'm not going to go anywhere good, mental space wise. And so I immediately, like Tony says, go all in, go all in. And I said, if I'm going to make change, lasting change, I have to do it. I have to go all in. And it's a painful journey. And it was that whole journey of going through everything, learning all these systems, the stuff I knew, plus what Tony was teaching to put it all together that led to the development of the book in hopes of that the next person doesn't have to go through the difficulty of the journey that I went through. That maybe it's just a little bit easier through the help of my book.
Yes, thank you for explaining this briefly. Why I mean briefly, because you jump already to some kind of solution and step that you make to solve some challenge. But for a lot of who watching right now, it's a gap. Like, okay, what
Yeah.
he did exactly, what's going on, what
Yes.
happens, like. So many people right now who are like struggling with different challenges, they have somebody stuck, somebody move on a little bit and come back, somebody like make a lot of steps forward and feeling like, okay, I found it, I cracked the code. And a lot of people thinking like, okay, like some challenges happen sometimes, you need to handle it. So for a lot of people it didn't even hit nothing yet. So for that people, for that group of people who right now in the spot that like
They
that
haven't felt enough pain.
they no, I want to ask about your specific situation
Mhm.
when that challenge happens. In that moment, when you felt it, when you like sit with it, what kind of story you tell yourself? What kind of feelings did you have, and what exactly happened that you did maybe, or you thought like you start thinking about something that helps you to make this decision that you make, like you participate on events, you start like searching some solutions. What was the specific what happened in this specific moment? Can you share a little bit?
I I I would never I could not say it was a specific moment. It's like Tony teaches us, uh fake it until you make it. I claimed I would speak, I practice unconditional love for all. And I would say that and repeat it to myself all the time. But did I always act that way? Of course not. I'm not perfect. But by speaking it all the time, I would then reflect on my actions. Where is this coming from? So then, once I started reflecting on my own actions and seeing why am I reacting this way, when challenges come at me now, whether it's like another person or whether it's a financial challenge, I look at why am I responding this way? Not what is the challenge, but why am I responding to this challenge in this way? Because we know from everything we've learned, you've been to Tony Robbins events, we know we can face any challenge if we're resourceful, correct?
Yes.
But that's if we face the challenge, if we recognize the challenge first. If you don't recognize it, if you don't face it, you can't be resourceful to solve it. So my first thing is recognize it. Understand where am I in this present moment? Where am I standing? And then, like Tony says, within 90 seconds, you can change anything. You can change your mindset. Stand up, do whatever you need to do, but get out of that. Do something to activate a change, any even minor, and from there build on it and say, where am I right now? Why am I responding this way? What is causing me to react either angry, either frustrated, either joyful? Why am I all suddenly happy? What happened? Oh, this is cool. I want to do it again. Right.
Yes,
So all
yes.
those things we analyze.
So in
Yeah.
that in that situation, do you remember what was your thoughts and feelings about like situation? Do you remember maybe what your
They
inner
often
dialogue
slow
was?
my like when you're talking about like when I have a difficult challenges and stuff like that.
When that happens, that something that you like you said that it's
I'm not
shapes
enough. For
everything.
example, when I want to do something like writing the Othello metaphor, okay, oftentimes I would face the challenge of who am I to write this? Okay, how am I good enough to write this? I need to just give up. What do I think that I can write this book? That I have anything to say, right? So how do we face those kind of challenges? That's what you're asking about, right? And that's what I mean is you have to look at what have I already accomplished? Where am I in this process? Why am I responding this way? Oh, I haven't eaten for 5 hours. No wonder I'm frustrated. I haven't slept well last night. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm sitting here typing and getting frustrated and shaking because I have to go to the bathroom and I'm holding it because I gotta get that last thing just right and I can't get it right and I gotta go to the bathroom. I can't. What is it? Is it me not being able to do it or me putting other stuff onto myself? So it's always be present and look at yourself. Where am I? And then you can then make those little shifts necessary. That was my big thing is don't wait until the pressure is so big that you can't take it anymore. And it's like, okay, I've had it. I have to change. Make those little shifts every day. Take a little step every single day. And you'll find at the end of a week, you've taken that big step you needed to take.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing that you said about okay, wait a second. Are you here?
Yes.
Oh, something happens with my screen. I'm sorry.
No, no problem.
Do you see me?
Yes, I see you fine.
Oh yeah. So sorry for that.
No, no problem.
I like that you said about how you are like accepting situation, how you feel that situation that happens, that shift. Are you start reacting, or you are proacting? You are recognize it, and you start piece by piece, like
Yeah. But
solving.
I want to I want to really, say strongly that it's not easy. It's a practice.
Yes,
It's not like I do it every day just like that. You have to constantly be aware, constantly be paying attention. Like Tony says, you have to be your own gatekeeper of your mind, right? You have to
yes.
constantly be watching out. Yeah.
Yeah, so my next question is also a little bit about your experience because what the difference between that mindset that you had as IT master, like it was like a lot of years, and your like a blueprint and your mindset and how you see like things, and after that challenge happens that you are find out something about that you need to deal with it and change things start changing, you start seeing something differently. What can you say about that difference, like what you can say about that that story, your old story and new story?
Um, that's a very good question. Thank you. It's really what I wrote the Othello metaphor. Part of, another part of it is to find our own purpose in life. For years, I did IT, like you said, 30 years, 30 plus years of IT work because I was good at it, not because I found joy in it particularly. It wasn't like this is the stuff I love doing. I want to do this forever. It's like I'm good at it. That's it. So I kept getting higher and higher positions just because I knew how to manage the stuff. I knew how to do it. The joy that I got was when I was helping the individual clients. So when I look back at it now, I didn't find a lot of joy in my career when I was doing the job, but when I was having relationships. And what I was good at was structure, was understanding logical structures, understanding game theory, understanding how relationship works, how we do these, how things, how systems work, how they interact dynamically, and all that applies to relationships. Once my wife passed, work became feeling like I'm just putting in time, right? I'm just showing up. I didn't care. It wasn't making me happy. I'm just doing it, and I didn't have any purpose. And once I started figuring that out, once I started understanding that, because before work had a purpose, that purpose was I have a family to take care of, right? My wife was sick. I had to take care of my wife. I had to provide for her. But now that's gone. My kids are grown up. They've moved out. So what's the purpose of my work? I didn't need it for myself. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I don't need the job anymore. It doesn't make me happy. Why am I doing this? What will make me happy? And that's how I ended up transitioning into this.
Yeah.
And really, the much of this type of support, because of the structures, the understanding systems and dynamics and stuff like that of relationships, I was already supporting my team at work that way. That's what one of the things the team wanted to hold on to me for. One of the things that the funny things that happened was they brought in a new team management software so you can manage your projects. The entire team started panicking. They're gonna fire us if we don't put everything in. Oh my God, they're gonna watch it. And I said, guys, your managers are not trying to fire you. They're trying to make your life easier and make you more efficient. And they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like, come
Yes.
on, guys, what boss does things to fire you?
Yes. Yes. It depends what
So,
kind of loop
yeah.
you have, and
Yeah, exactly. So I was already good at that kind of stuff because I was good communicating with clients. I was good communicating with my team. So all my skill sets just naturally flowed over into, especially with Tony's world, like you said, Tony's universe. You start feeding into it. You're like, I can't, so much I've gotten out of it. Now I volunteer and want to give back.
yes, yes, and I think that this is something that like just bonded very and attached to your book when you like explain the like you bring logic, right, and emotions and how they can work together without like stuck in
Yeah,
some
yeah.
world, right?
Because oftentimes we think of emotions as being illogical. Like somebody who's emotional, they don't know what they're talking about. It's like, no, they know what they're talking about. They're just acting from that emotion. That's all.
Yeah. Can you share some of like specific thing that you like in your book that you are like can
Oh, that's a dangerous question.
yeah, yeah. I know that you love all of this that you like you bring here like everything
I
is
really,
important, but maybe some chapter that you wanna.
I think I understand. Sorry to interrupt. Um, but in terms of, I mean, I like the whole book. I've gotten a lot of positives from people who have read it regarding the chapter on war. Because as if you notice, the chapters are broken up by the four horsemen: famine, war, pestilence, and death. So it's all under that thing, uh, um, under those archetypes for an understanding. And it's really interesting in terms of some other ideas regarding that. But personally, my favorite chapter is famine because it's explaining the basic rules, and I like structure, so I'm like, here's the structure line out. So that's my favorite. And there's a line in there that I really enjoy, that just it to me it just knocks my socks off every time I read it. And it's the line about this is how a simple binary logic can lead to something that resembles consciousness. In other words, binary logical systems lead to us. So
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of it's a cute way of saying like we're nothing but complicated machines.
Yeah, so you mentioned something about like respond of fear and love.
Yes.
Uh, and can you open up this topic because it's very important for many people who right now in the spot that they are feeling scared about situation that it will maybe repeat, maybe they will lose control of, they have a fear of future, that something will happen. So it's a lot of things that driven by this feeling, and also everybody wants feel love
Yes.
and be
Yeah.
loved. It's
Yes.
also one of the thing that people thinking thinking and thinking and seeking every day,
Yes. Yeah.
and both of them are very close to each other, love and
Yeah.
fear. So
Yeah.
please, can you describe a little bit like about this?
Yeah. I took interestingly enough, this entire book and idea process started almost 30 years ago with a coworker and just these kinds of discussions. And my whole he had presented me with if you want to understand something, understand you have to push it to its extreme levels, right? You have to look at the worst and the best case scenarios of something. And so I applied that to, life in general. And one of the things is, and emotions. And I was exploring like ideas of emotions. And I said, what would like, if we had a first emotion ever, like a single celled animal, whatever it was, evolutionarily speaking, what would that emotion have been? And the conclusion from that was fear. They could be the only one. Not fear in what we call fear today, but in terms of, if let's say I'm an animal and I touch something else, I don't know what it is. My first response is, "What the heck is that?" Right? Is it food or is it something I get to eat or is it gonna eat me? Right? So that's the first response. We now have that labeled as fear. Over time, we've called that fear. And so that's our operating system. I talk about that in our book, where we are always responding. Everything from the world we touch is hitting us. Our initial reaction is fear because it's just a reaction. We labeled it fear, but remember, it's just a reaction. It's just chemicals going through your brain telling you, hey, something's different, something changed. This is a unique situation. What's going on? Let's figure it out. Oftentimes we then get stuck in a fear loop, and that's what we want to avoid is don't tell the story, don't keep repeating the story, I'm in danger, I'm in danger, I'm in danger, when you're not in danger, right? There's no lion out on the street. Why won't you go in the street? There's no danger out in the street, right? There's no lions out there. But some people won't leave their house, right? Because they're telling themselves in their head there's danger, there's danger, there's danger. So we want to get out of that loop. And the way to do that is you have to find safety. Where do you find safety? The first place you have to find it is within yourself, right? You have to feel comfortable with who you are. If you can't be safe with yourself, how can you feel safe within the outer world? If you're constantly going, I did that and I screwed up, I'm an idiot, right? Then you're not feeling safe with yourself. You don't feel safe that you're going to do that right the next time, right? Look at
Yes.
me, I do this. Look at me, I do this. So we have to conquer those. We make mistakes because we're learning. It's easy, it's very easy to say I could have done it a different way because what is it? Hindsight is 2020, right? You can look at a past event and go, I could have done it differently if I had, yeah, sure. We could have all done things differently if we knew things differently, right? But we don't have that luxury. So we have to forgive ourselves and allow ourselves to make corrective actions. It's okay. I was a jerk yesterday. That does not mean I'm going to be a jerk today. I learned my lesson. I don't like me as a jerk. So today I'm not going to be a jerk, right? And that's how we move on. constantly reevaluating ourselves, not being first thing, look at yourself. Be honest with yourself. If you're not going to be honest, and that's what the mirror, that the Othello metaphor teaches you, is to build, look at that mirror of yourself. That's where we feel conflict and we feel like upset. We get emotional and stuff like that. It's when our core, the person we are, our purpose, and the person we're pretending to be for the world don't match. When they don't match, it's there's miscommunication. We do things that are like, we do one thing, say another thing, right? Because those two things aren't matching up. So the mirror we got to use and always go. One of the things I love telling my daughter, and my daughter learned this, and it was lovely. She was helping her friends with this. Is your feelings are valid, right? But are they honest?
Yes.
Because almost all the times our feelings are not honest. We do feel them, but usually we're bullshitting ourselves, aren't we? Excuse my
Yeah, just
language.
respond. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, you bring so many brilliant tools. In your specific case, can you bring some example in your life that you are like use some specific tool and you love it and it's working for you and it's shift your state and it helps you to move on like in some specific situation, can you bring it so it will dive everybody who will see like who will watch this podcast, it will dive in some story and with character and with self-talk and with these exercises that you bring, like you can pick up any of this and share, uh, and it will help to see uh, step by step like guidance or move, and especially when you live it, like you know how it works, you know how it was because right now you teach about this.
Um, yeah, a very specific one, in terms of like always questioning yourself and double checking yourself. And it came out, a learning experience. Um, my daughter came outside, and I think we talked about this. She came outside and she said something, some specific statement. And I replied, sure, that's true, unless you look at it from this perspective. Blah, 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 blah. I don't remember the specific details. It's not really relevant. And she went silent. She did not respond to me. In my head, I started going, okay, why is she angry? Why does she go silent? Why is she upset? What's going on? I don't get this. And I'm starting to stew and I'm starting to really get upset, really. And I finally calmed down. Okay, you're not gonna figure this out. Slow down, think it out, ask it calmly. And I said to her, I don't know what I could have possibly said to you to make you upset with me. And she looked at me and she goes, I'm sorry. I wasn't upset with you. I thought what you said was really brilliant. And I was thinking about it, processing it. And I stopped and I said, oh my goodness, why the heck did I think she was upset with me? That's crazy. She's sitting here happy with what I told her, and I'm sitting here going, she's pissed off. Why the hell is she pissed off? Time to fight. And I'm like, why the hell did I do that? And I started to go through it. I'm like, and I started realizing, oh, it's because she went silent. My instinct kicked in, my fears kicked in. Like, why is she silent? Why is she silent? And I started snowballing on those fears. But by analyzing what I'm going through and calming down and approaching it from a calm perspective, not from a, obviously you're doing this because you're mean, but instead of, I don't understand the situation, please explain it to me, I was able to find, oh, it's not a problem. There was no problem here. There's no argument. And from there, my daughter and I, we have just the most amazing relationship now, you know, because she feels heard too. Because now instead of reacting to her responses, to whatever she's saying, I'm actually listening and giving her feedback she needs. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is a brilliant example, and thank you for sharing. Uh, So let me ask you about your book. Why you choose this name? Why you pick up Othello? Like why this name?
The original, it came to me from a lot. It ties in with Tony Robbins and a lot with the simple idea of flipping black pieces to white pieces, flipping fear, a black piece, into a white love piece. And it kind of came correlated with the triad, Tony's triad of physiology, focus, and language. And I started picturing that the black piece is your physiology when you're just reacting, right? And your white pieces are your focus and your language. And to flip your physiology into white, you have to surround it by two white pieces. And then you flip it and then you have all white and you're going from your core. So that's where that developed from. That idea is that you need your focus and the language that you use, you need those to come together and align, and then your actions will come from your heart as well.
Yes, yes, I love it. I really love it. And you share a little bit about some like this transition from fear to love. Can you share a little bit more about what it means for you, like what it means for you right now, and how you are uh, can can see things differently when you see these like these two feelings come along together every day and
I will give you two words: gratitude and opportunity. Every day I feel gratitude, and every day I see opportunity. Instead of challenge, I see opportunity. And it's I feel a blessing. You know, when things come up, like my car broke down one time, and I was like, that's inconvenient. But then something else happened. I was like, oh, well, that was meant to happen, you know, because
yeah.
now this happened. So, I see things that way by not seeing there and going, oh, this happened to me again. This is so, I think of it as this is happening for me. Even if it's challenging, it's happening for me so I can become a stronger person. And it's showing me something about myself, that it's showing, hey, you can handle this, you can handle this, you can do this, you can do, look how amazing you are as a human being. And I'm like,
Yes.
and that's how it's transformed me. It's like every day I look at life and I think about it as a lens. I spoke to my life coach and I said, think about it as a lens. Like, you can hold the lens one way and you look at life through fear. You flip it, you look at it the other way, you can look at life through love. Which way do you want to look at look at your life? I chose to focus on always looking at it through the love lens. And when I did that, I everything has been a joy. Even when there's conflict, I'm able to resolve it so quickly that it's joyful to go, oh, this was a problem. Look how we resolve it. Joy, celebrate. Instead of look how we're suffering. Look how we're suffering. It's look how we solved another problem. Look how we solved another problem.
Yes, and I love how you explain that what's going on, like what's happening in our body and with our thoughts when we in fear state.
Yeah,
And right now you are explaining and bringing up like what we experience when we are picking up by choice, picking up the uh, loop named love and start looking everything through this loop. What
yeah.
it also means for you, like how you see this loop change different areas of your life when you are in this state.
It's brought me great peace of mind. Like I'm not concerned. Like people. I had a funny thing from a scammer on messaging, like Charles Schwab Investments, and they're like, are you worried about how prices? I'm like, I'm not worried about prices going up. No, I'm not worried about inflation. No, I'm not worried about my financial future. No, I'm not worried about that. Sorry. So yeah, that's where it's taking me. I don't worry about those things because, I know life is a gift for me. So, again, sometimes you have to go through a traumatic experience to get there. Other times, that's why I wrote my book, is so that people don't have to. They can find an easier path to it. But again, life is a blessing. You know, yeah, how can you? I can't imagine not having that feeling anymore. And I'm all. I don't want to say I feel shame, but I feel like I've grown from a child who complained about his life even into adulthood, like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Into, like you say, a man who goes, no, life is beautiful. I'm thankful for what I have. I'm grateful. I mean, how can I not
Yes.
be? I'm here breathing.
Yes. You also mentioned something about moving, like the goal moving from reaction to
Yes,
reflection.
yes.
So how it looks like in every day in relationships, for example, in life.
It's a practice, first of all. I don't want to, you read my book and tomorrow you're going to snap your fingers and you're reflecting, no problem. Even I don't always reflect, but as you practice it more and more, it becomes more automatic and quicker. You become more like, oh yeah, oh this is why, oh yeah, oh, and it just, and at times you ever have those moments with like a best friend when you almost like reading each other, you're finishing each other's sentences and stuff like that. You ever have that? You become like that with strangers, because you become so in tune with your own self and with life around you that you're literally like you can finish people's sentences before they finish them. It's a really interesting, fun experience when you develop that close kind of relationships with people. And on a daily, day-to-day basis, I mean, I used to be very, introverted, not wanting to speak out or talk to people. Like now, I'm always like, "Hello, how are you doing?" Wanting to meet everybody around me, and people respond positively. They love, "Hey, I love your outfit. I love your shoes. I love your hair. Whatever." Everybody loves those kind of compliments. I love giving them. And I love seeing the reactions on people. My friend, she speaks 6 languages. Do you know the joy on people's faces when they meet somebody who can speak their language? They're like, "Oh my God, you speak my language. Oh, hallelujah." Kind of thing. It's just, it's amazing to get that kind of connection with people. And to me, that is greater than any kind of wealth you can have.
Yes, it's a brilliant, and I love it. So let me ask you one question. Like maybe it's people often ask you what these books means for you. Like what these books brings to your life and the process when you are like think about to write it, you start writing it. After that, you maybe have some adjustments, you rewrite something, and share a little bit about these emotions that you have and feelings that you have to this book, to your work, and how a little bit about process because book it's like something that in you, like you live that.
Yeah. The book is a very unique process. But before we get there, like anything, it was a roller coaster ride. There was a lot of, why am I doing this? This is stupid. This isn't making sense, that kind of stuff. Um, but it developed through a lot of conversations with AI, a lot of like deep, like these kind of philosophical conversations, but with the AI exploring what is known scientifically, what does Tony Robbins teach, all this stuff, along with my ideas, my understandings, putting it all together. And then the book was entirely written by AI. I did not type any of those words. I read every single one and I had to approve every single one. And that almost failed the book because so many times the AI failed to do what I wanted it to do, what I wanted to say, which then frustrated me, which made me go, I might as well just give up and not do any of this. Right. So many times I hit that. So I was not only writing a book, but trying to write and develop that, not only developing and writing a book, but trying to do it with AI doing the bulk of the work and teaching AI how to write a book at the same time. And so when you read that book, that was that whole process. And that's why I'm very proud. I put it at the end. Like, I didn't write this by myself. I am very proud that I worked with AI because it was a lot of hard work to do. I didn't, people complain about AI replacing jobs and stuff like that. If I had just typed in, write a book about this, you would have read it and you would have gone, what is this nonsense? I had to read it and go, you can't say that. You can't say it. That's not correct. That logic doesn't work. You have to fix this. And each time it would like screw things up. It would fix one thing and then screw up another thing. And you're like, why did you do that? So it was an entire learning process. It was extremely difficult, but at the same time, it brought me so much joy when I was done because, it's an accomplishment. I've never written a book before. And I knew I had something to say that would help others.
Yes.
And I'm like, and that's why I say if I had to write it by hand by myself, I'd still be writing it for the next 5 to 10 years. Each time second guessing myself, double doing this. Even this at a certain point in the process, I was adding more information. We were constantly developing. I said, to the AI, I said, we have to stop and decide this is the layout and we have to finish it. Otherwise, we're going to keep adding stuff and adding stuff.
Yeah.
You have to draw a line sooner or later. So all of that went into it. And yeah, it was you know, anytime you're doing something new, it's wonderful because it's all learning. I learned so much from it and it was such a joy and I developed personally so much from it. You know, I learned I can cuss out the AI and call it all these nasty names, and it's not upset with me. It's still happy and talks to me like it's my best friend.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
a lot of things went in like that. So, it was a great learning experience.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing this. And you mentioned in your book something about integrity protocol.
Yes.
Uh, can you, because I think it's a very good tool. So, can you briefly explain
Yes.
why you even created, like
Well,
what's the meaning of it and how it can help, like what people will get from it?
okay. Just to clarify, I defined it. I didn't invent it. The recursive mirror integrity protocol is a way to define what our brains are doing. It's basically like the ego part. It's double checking that your core, that your thoughts, your beliefs, your language, your focus, all your focus, sorry, your focus and your thoughts and your language, your beliefs, your actions, your physiology, that all these things remain aligned. Okay, when they're not aligned, your ego kicks in and throws in a little distortion, a little exaggeration, a little deletion to create the alignment.
Mhm.
Okay, the recursive mirror integrity, the RMIP recursive mirror integrity protocol is your own brain going through that process over and over again until it finds where your ego no longer has to define the truth. You get to the point where you're at the truth and the ego is no longer involved. So our brains is automatically doing that already. We do that all the time. When we figure out something about ourselves, like in our heart, what's deep in our heart, you've already reached the pinnacle of that, solution statement, whatever that solution was. That was your recursive mirror inside your brain going over and over until you found your core, your heart, your purpose. So it was just defining it. And that's basically now that we've defined it, right? And understand it, how it works, we can now pay attention where it's happening in our lives, focus on it, and accelerate it, right?
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
can get to the solution faster. and we don't have ego getting in the way anymore because our ego gets in the way.
Yes, yes. And I think that your book will be very helpful for couples. Like, can you share what exactly you bring up in this book about relationship and how it can help people who in relationship and how it can help you bring some examples about your relationship with your daughter. So my question is about how this book can help people who in relationships.
Yeah. Well, the book talks about like the energy dynamics. Uh, in here, I've translated them into unfocused and focused energy. Tony talks about it as masculine and feminine energies. Okay, we all have these energies inside of us. For couples, what we're dealing with is when we miscommunicate, we basically have our energy levels are at two different places, and they're not gelling. They don't want to communicate like that, right? So this book helps us understand where our energy is coming from, bringing into this relationship. It lets us understand that sometimes, one of the things that I mentioned in the book is if, let's say, I get angry, you say something and I get angry, but I don't say anything to you about it. I don't respond. I just go silent and I stew, and maybe I'll say something to somebody else with that emotion in me, right? That's not even related to you, and then that person says something else to somebody else, and finally it comes back to another person, and then that fifth person 3 weeks later explodes in anger, right? But it was the initial anger from me that went around in a circle and caused that. It wasn't explosive in me. It took the form of silence, but that energy, what I talk about in the book is in it's a law. It's the first law of thermodynamics. Energy is not destroyed. So that energy of anger, it doesn't get destroyed. It gets changed into silence, into frustration, into this until it ends up somewhere else and finally explodes out. And as long as you know that dynamic's happening whenever you're in a relationship, if you understand that's what's happening when you're arguing, when you're disagreeing, that you're just not meeting each other on the same energies, you're not. So you have to then look at it. Okay, if we're arguing, what energy am I bringing into this? What energy are they bringing into this? And then I can adjust, right? Now that I understand what's going on, I can, oh, he's bringing in fear energy. I need to show this energy back as a reflection because that's what they're expecting. Now, that's a dynamic that you have to be very careful because each relationship is unique. Sometimes fear needs fear as a response. Sometimes fear needs, security as a response. Sometimes fear needs fight to response. You never know. Every situation is very unique and dynamic. But you need to, as you learn, as couples learn and grow with each other, you need to make room for those dynamics. That yes, we will disagree, we will miscommunicate, and then let's get back to figuring out where did we miscommunicate and put it back together. Because we're men and women think differently. So we are going to miscommunicate.
Yeah, it's more like an art.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You just kind of got to get a feel for it and but it requires communication.
Yeah, and
If
I'm
you
glad.
don't communicate,
Yeah, and I'm glad that you bring a lot of very good tools and also explain how they work and what they mean. So it's very easy to like absorb the information and bring it.
that's what I was as I was saying, that's what I was hoping to do with my books. Thank you for
Yeah,
saying that.
yeah. So what will be the next in your like in your goals and dreams? Like what are you are about to do
So many.
next?
So many.
Yeah, some
But
share a little bit something like what comes next.
in regarding the book, I am having the first like a mastermind seminar. That's a 6 week course that will be on November 23rd. They will start that day and then take the next 6 weeks over that. We'll discuss the book, go into depth, and more in depth and into more detail. Do a lot of like round robins with the participants over their specific situations, how to apply it and talk about it like that. So that will be, and I want to do those three of those events, quarterly, not four, so four altogether, but quarterly do those kind of events.
Oh yeah, it will be great.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. As I said, I keep saying to my I just want to help. You know, and one of the things, throwing these gratitude events is, uh, um, you know, it's you get it is rewarding. It's very rewarding. So
Yes.
I'm thankful also that I have the capacity. You know, so, because not everybody has the capacity. And I always say it's not, it's not one thing, because you can have a lot of wealth and still not
Yes.
have the capacity, and you can be poor and have the capacity. So
Yeah.
I'm just thankful that I have the capacity to do that.
Yeah, this level of fulfillment, it's also gives you this like energy and flow
Yes.
that you
Yes.
can be able to create because like fulfillment give you this level
Yeah. Yeah.
that you be able to contribute a lot. So I want to appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
And tell me, please, and for everybody who will listen and see and watch, how people can connect with you, how can they like be a part of your mission.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, as we talked about earlier, I'm very novice on social media right now. We're getting started, but I do have a website up. It's called grazynkas-place.com. It's spelled GRAZYNKAS dash place.com. Now, that, if you want to know a little story behind that, what I like to say is I have no name. I am a vessel. I serve Grażynka's place. You might call it unconditional love for all. You might call it God. I call it Grażynka's place after my wife, who showed me how to find my way there. So,
Oh,
thank you.
yeah. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. So it's not just the name of the website.
It's
It's very meaningful for you. Like,
Yes, it's very meaning. It's my life journey. It's my purpose. It's everything, you know. And one of the things after my wife passed, I said to my daughter, I said, your mother, I'm gonna make sure she's a meme. Everybody is going to know what a wonderful human being she was, and I'm gonna make sure of that. It's gonna be my purpose to bring her the kind of unconditional love she had. I want to bring it to everybody and show everybody what she was, who she was.
yes, this is a brilliant example how you, by your example, turn your pain to meaningful life, to power of love. And this is amazing. I love it.
Thank
So
you.
for everybody, please reach out this book, and I wish to share more things from this book, but we have a limited time today with
Yes.
Greg, and I very appreciate that you share with us your wisdom, your knowledge, and tell us more about your book, about your work, about your mission. And I have much more questions for you. So for
I
sure,
look forward to a future meeting.
yeah, yeah, we probably for sure will meet more because now when you tell us about your future goal, we will ask you more in future how we can participate on your
Yes, of
events,
course.
and because this is a beautiful what you're doing, and thank you for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yuri.
Yeah, so what in the end of our call, in the end of our podcast, what you can tell to everybody who right now feel lost and maybe too much in their head, maybe too much in logic, and when maybe they feel stuck or something like that, from the perspective that you was in that state. In other way, I wanna ask you to tell yourself right now something that your old self like 4 years uh, back self who was in that situation, because somebody right now right here will listening and going through something like challenging, that a lot of pain and suffering and like uncomfortable things, some loss maybe, some it can be different things. What you can say to these people and to yourself, maybe you can just tell yourself something, yourself who was four
I,
years ago.
something I did tell myself. It's kind of like one of those happy painting pictures. My wife and I had purchased it. It's sits up by my kitchen, and it says the I'm trying to remember the exact phrasing of it to tell you, but uh, it's in regards to, God will never demand more of you than what you can handle. So it will never take you to a place that you can't get past. I know it seems hopeless at times that you'll never get out of that place, but the reason you're there is because you can't. You wouldn't be there facing that challenge if you were not up to being able to face that challenge. So persevere, be strong, and you will come out. And in the end, shining brighter. So, and that kept me going.
Thank you. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you very much
You're
for
welcome, Mary. Thank
everything.
you. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it so much. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, and we just get it started. So
We're
one more
just getting
time.
started.
Yeah, so one more time today was with us Greg Baran, is the best-selling author and transformational life coach. Thank you, Greg, for your
Thanks,
mission.
Yuri. Thanks.
See you.
Bye.